You see this concrete area here? This has been rebuilt. The old concrete bunds that were put in the 80s were basically just made of regular concrete. They weren't sort of sealed properly and everything else. They were basically just done as a worst case scenario to get rid of the, not get rid of it, but if you had a spill, it would go into there and they'd suck it out.
This is just an emergency measure, is it?
But, well, yeah, but it's a legal requirement.
Yeah,
you have to have it. So that's now been done to service standards. So that's brand new, right? Now, that bund, you'll actually see when you come on site, there's a ditch that runs all the way around this area. And that, you'll see, has a ditching in it. So the whole site, from there, and around the other side, has membranes that are placed first in 14 underneath the ground, and then 80 underneath the ground, and then you have your fill above that. So basically you've got two non-permeable membranes that sit there. So if anything was to leak out of this area, so that's your first safety point, the bund. If anything leaks out, then it's contained in that area. Then you have a channel that goes around the outside too. And then underneath that big container there, you have a interceptor. Now the interceptor gets buried underneath the ground. It's about 4 meters high, probably 9 meters long, and that holds basically the whole volume of the site. So if you wouldn't have anything happen like the site flooded or anything like that, everything can go to that interceptor there. Great to leave this spot there. Everything on the site is temporary, except for that big tower there. Right. That container at the front with the two windows in it.
With the wings up at the top.
Yes. The container at the front with the two windows. Next to it's a shower toilet. On the other side's a clean office. All the other equipment on site at this point is to be removed, basically after tomorrow. So we have a single truck in the middle which has the rig unit attached to it. The rig unit can go up and down. Yeah. We've got the casing stringers going in the hole basically. It's on the end of those tubes right now. And that is the huge weight, which is why you get a roll. So that weighs for about 50,000 pounds. And we're lowering that into the hole as we speak. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm trying to think what else I'll show. You can't see the tanker loading station, which is that bit there. That's all been new concrete as well. All the concrete from the site and all the stone that was originally put here in the 80s has been removed and sent for decontamination because we didn't know the state it's in. The place has been basically just put with regular earth that was here originally, and then when they finish moving all their kit and stop making a mess, then we can put some nice hardcore down. But there's no point in putting hardcore down now and then they crunch all over it. Those are the old pumps at the top, the old nodding donkeys.
Are they going to go back on?
To be honest, they're really outdated and inefficient. Well, they're not inefficient, but they're outdated. So in the future, okay, you see this little wooden shack there, right? That's actually covering a wellhead. So we just put it there so nobody can drop anything there or bump it or anything like that while we're working. So it's all sealed up. It's actually got a plug sitting below the surface inside of it, two valves closed, and then another cap. But we scaffolded up and we bored it so that no dropped objects or anything can land on it.
And what number is that well?
As in the 1, 2, 3 number.
That's number 3.
Okay. Right.
3 was the one that was producing recently. So
yeah, that's number 3.
Was the original. 2 was the one that wasn't.
Without the boards, it's got a nice big white 3 on it. But going forward, so that sits about that high above the ground. Going forward, the idea is not to use the nodding donkeys, but to use electric submersible pumps. So the pumps actually sit inside the well, so you don't see anything. You might have to put a donkey on, but a donkey uses 13 amps and an ESP uses 2 amps.
Much more efficient.
Yeah. I mean, that's from those pumps themselves are probably from the 50s and being rejuvenated. Well, I say rejuvenated, I mean repainted. Rods. I'll just take you through some of the kit so you can see it. That's the brake as he's bringing it down. That over there is a generator, as you can see. The ones that smoke over there are the for this when we're rigging up, when we're running casing. Pulling just to see what the weight was. You see the big silver thing on the side, right? You see a silver cover sitting in the green stand?
Yeah.
That makes sense? That is actually where you get your condensation when you're circulating through the hole. So the fluid comes out the hole, goes through a series of valves into that, which is a centrifuge, and that centrifuge strips out any solids that may be in it. Those solids then get taken off site and disposed of, but basically you can spin them out so you're far more back than you used to. What else we got there? We've got a pump with blue cover which sits behind those bottles you see there. The bottles are part of the safety system. The bottles basically are a backup that if you fail on your electrical power and everything else, you've got a hydraulic reserve. The hydraulic reserve allows you to open, close, every safety system on the rig without any power on site. So that's how that works.
Useful.
Yeah. That's, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. The smoke that you actually see at the back is a telehandler, which has been moving around. That's not used all the time. I'm afraid this is just diesels, which aren't, as you know.
Well, you might need some filters changed.
Yeah, it's not mine, but yes.
Or whoever you hired it from might need their filters changed.
Now, what else? Questions? Okay. Chemicals. Those are fail-safes. If anything goes wrong with the well, we keep them on site. We can effectively make a pill, a heavy pill to put in the well, kill everything. If we think we've got losses, if we think we're gaining, etc., then you always have the ability to use one of these tanks here. We've got water on site, we've got water connection. We can mix up what's called a pill, and we can pump it in the well to kill everything.
You mean kill it?
Sorry, that's not the right term, especially if your camera's on. You refer to a well as being live or not live.
Yeah.
So if it's wanting to produce on you, you have options. One is you have your blowout preventers. And you, obviously, if it's in a production mode, you want to do that, but you have a blowout protection system, which allows you to effectively monitor the well. If anything goes wrong, you can shut it in, you can run pipe down to the bottom, and you can circulate things out. But if you want to be able to monitor it, effectively you've got downhole pressure, as I talked about when they perforate over there. You've got pressure coming in from the rocks, and you've got pressure from the fluid that's in the column, which keeps it out. When you don't have casing in the well, you have to rely on the column fluid. So if that is not enough to push if it's too much, it flows into the formation, which you don't want. And if it's too little, the formation flows into you. So the idea is always to keep it on a balance. And that way you can make a pill depending on what you think the balance should be. So you've got pressure gauges on all the...
So effectively it varies the pressure.
Yes, effectively it changes the pressure of the hydrostatic column on the formation, or on anything that might come in on it. I'm just going to walk a bit further on so you can see more stuff. Come along, sorry, let's go.
So the blue tankers that came in, if you've got water on site, what were they for?
Which blue tankers?
The ones that came on by road.
Are they silver? Or blue?
Blue.
Because I'll have to check. But the tank, we've got 2 tankers in, at least 2 or 3. Most of those were to take out all the dirty well fluids that we got in.
Because it had non-hazardous on the side on the way in and the way out.
Yeah, it's just brine, but it has to be disposed of. It's not non-hazardous. Well,
these vehicles had non-hazardous on the way in and out, but...
You sure it wasn't a cementing lorry?
No, big
blue,
long blue water tankers. I think judging by the tyres, they were bringing stuff in.
I need pictures to see which ones there was. I mean, I've got all the things. It could be cement, it could be fluids coming out. No idea. Right. That's not
so what's all this in here? And
that's nothing right now. That's all been redone. That bund. So it's just got a few bits of bobs lying in it.
So this is the one that takes if you have a...
So what we'll have is tanks will actually go in there. Yeah. That's where the tanks were, and that's where your production tanks sit. And your separator and everything else sits in this area. So everything's contained, there's no way of getting in and out of that area. And you put metal walkways into it. It's obviously just being used as storage while there's no oil on
that
site.
Cylinder there?
That's a water cylinder. That's a water tower.
Right.
That's effectively for if we're taking any water off the oil, or we think there's water in the oil, then we can skim it off using the tower. On the side you can see ditching, concrete ditch with little half mounds in it. That's effectively the side bit, so that's where the membrane runs to. On the other side is just redundant equipment for the storage.
This is the oil well number 1, the original.
This is the original one. Now, when we redo it, those diesel tanks and everything, those are new, but they're empty there. The idea is to have bunded tanks sitting within the bunded area, and you'll have a new control system there.
And the bunded area is simply there to determine if something leaks or something like that.
Yeah, basically, if all your tanks are the same, it will contain it all, plus it will contain the way for the container, so you have a catastrophic failure. So it has to hold 200% of your bundle volume. That's all that does. Can't think what else we've got. Not really much of that going on site. That's what we have to do. The pump truck is being stored here. That's one of Charlie's pieces of kit. It's basically as a bit of an emergency as well. If your other pump fails, that pump you'll see has got a big flywheel at the side. It's good for volume, but it's not good for pressure. If you were running fracks, you would use typically pumps called HT400s, which are 400 horsepower Halliburton pumps, which actually aren't very big, but they can give you massive amounts of pressure. A 5,000 psi pump is not big in the oil industry. 20,000 psi pump is big. But when you're doing this, the most you ever see is maybe a couple of thousand going down the string. That's about it. Should we go on site?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, question.